Yeah, in transmission, we just
issue. And therefore,
including issues of state creation, including issues of state police, including issues of fiscal federalism,
including
and all these issues mentioned, including by President Tinubu while he was in the opposition. So but you're not afraid of all these issues?
No. If you talk about restructuring, depending on who you are talking with, you talk to people of someone from South, he wants own and manage his own resource. If you talk to the Southwest, they want to federalism, they want to own all the VAT that they collect. If you talk to the Southeast, they want another state created, even though actually they neither have the space or the population to have that. But if you talk to us now, what we want to do is to use what we have to get what we are looking for.
And what do you have that you're using to get what you're looking for?
We have over 70% of the land mass of Nigeria. We have over 60% of the population. So we are going to use our land mass and our population and our natural resources, especially soil and minerals, to get to sit and talk about restructuring. The North should no longer be viewed as running away from restructuring. We are ready and able and willing to commence discussions on these issues.
You're a lawyer, former chairman of the body of benchers. There are calls for a new constitution. Would you not be willing to sit with other parts of the country to firm up a new constitution that works for everyone if there's a sovereign national conference?
That is the opinion of the North with respect to restructuring. Don't forget that we are on the program Biafra Discourse. And joining me in this conversation is Ndubisi and Enugu, who is joining virtually. Hello, Ndubisi. You can come live on the program and unmute yourself. If you are there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Chinedu.
All right. Although you are a little bit close to your camera so that we can see you properly, let us get your opinion as to what the Northern Elders talked about in their view about what they thought restructuring means for the Southeastern, who are Biafran people. Go on.
Hello, Chinedu.
Yeah, go on. You heard what I said?
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me. You said I should
react to what the man meant or what he believed restructuring means for the Southeast.
Personally, Chinedu, everybody is free to believe anything, and I wouldn't expect them to believe something that will be in our favor. So I don't believe in what the man said. The man said the Southeast is asking for another state, even though they are disadvantaged in terms of space, But I don't know what he meant. The state of Israel, are they bigger than Southeast, the present Southeast, or the state of even the? In fact, up to 59 countries of the world do not have the kind of land mass we have. They don't have the kind of population we have. So for him to say that the Southeast is disadvantaged, I don't understand what he meant. He's just speaking.
And also to him, he believed that the South, not just the South, to the South, it means restructuring means resource control. To the West, they want to take in the tax, the VAT that is coming towards Lagos and keep it to themselves based on the large volume of VAT they are getting from both the ports and the rest of them. And to the North, he believed that they have the negotiating power when it comes to the thing they presumed that they are the most populated in Nigeria and they have land mass. How do you react to it? As in Biafra.
And anyway, in response to him and making my opinion known to everybody. You know, it's about the time we start telling the world what we want and exactly what we want, and stop allowing people to say things about ourselves or to determine our own personal position. You know, have for him to say that the Yorubas want to keep their tax, the South want to keep their resources, and the North have a very large population, giving them bargaining power to negotiate, meaning that they are in a better position, in an advantageous position to tell us the direction they want Nigeria to go. Meaning that those of us in the East should not have any input because we are in the minority. You know, like I said previously, it's personal view. And these guys have continued, they have continued continuously, they have continued to manipulate and impose their opinion on us because those of us in Southeast are kept in a rattle race. Do you understand what I meant by rattle race?
The
People
rat
are
race,
just
of
trying
course,
to
of course.
people are just trying to feed, or because we are created to be ambitious, to be hardworking. So Nigerian society or Nigerian system has made it such that an average Igbo man has no economic opportunities to thrive or to survive, has no space, even though in a large Nigeria where you have a lot of space, but they have constraints, they have limitation in terms of funding, in terms of licensing, operational licensing, in terms of having access to what they ought to do. But Nigeria is limiting them to do that. So an average Igbo man who is ambitious have no power of his own to operate. That has been our issue. But rather, I want us to speak as Biafrans, as Ndi Igbo want out of Nigeria. What do we want? Should be our discussion, our focus, and not what others want us to do. So, Chinedu, I think that is the area I
Yeah.
want
That is
to.
where we are going on this conversation. What exactly do we want? And how are we going about it? Because if you look at our people, most of us, we are very emotional whenever we talk about the issue of Biafra. Boom! We lose our sense, emotion, and sentiment without looking at critically how do we get ourselves what we want. One of the major things we must understand that our political class, majority of them are sellouts. And the rest of them that is remaining are very afraid. They are so much afraid of what they are going to lose if they, openly, agitate or speak up for what will benefit the Southeast within the structure of Nigeria. For instance, the Apaga people, is it not them that have it in their manifesto about restructuring? But today, none of their political class, whether at the national level or the state level or even at local government level, even they are not speaking up about this issue. When it comes to restructuring of Nigeria, what does it really mean for the Southeast? To the Southeast, it meant self-determination. To the Southeast, it meant self-reliance, to be able to create an enabling environment for them to strive. An average Biafran, particularly Igbos, because we are not just, Biafrans only in the Southeast as, being positioned in Nigeria structure today. But when we talk about the core eastern region of Nigeria today, where the Igbo Biafrans occupy, they need an enabling environment to thrive, to compete, among themselves. That in the commerce and industry, in creative industries, in agriculture, in any space of life, even the modern what do you call it, AI or artificial intelligence, or even what they call this internet world, where we have robotics and the rest of the technologies and art. We have everything to try. But the Nigerian system is suffocating our people. The structure.
You have to be around. You don't disqualify yourself. You don't excommunicate yourself because you want to protest against the system. You know, this is 21st century. We have to do the right thing, and the right way to go is to be organized. We have to organize ourselves towards a platform, towards a message. And what is that message? Message of good governance, message of love. Once we organize ourselves under the platform of this message, message of good governance, message of love, and then set direction, if 1 million people can organize themselves, I mean 1 million Igbos, 1 million Biafrans can organize themselves under the platform of love. We love ourselves, Chinedu. Because I love you, I cannot hurt you. Because I love you, if you have any need and you call me on phone, Ndubisi, please wire 100,000 naira to me. I have urgent need.
Ndubisi, let me come in there and take up this call. Okay, somebody is calling. Our lines are open already. If you want to join the conversation, you are free to make the call. And make sure that when you're calling, it is basically on what we are talking about. You can also help us to share this video. Drop your comment on the comment section if you can't get through on the line. Thank you very much. Ndubisi, go on.
So like I was saying, Chinedu, I said we cannot repeat ourselves enough. That the only thing is for us to love ourselves. Genuine people, genuine Biafrans, genuine Igbo people, is for us to come under the platform of love, under the platform of good governance, under the platform of visionary leadership, under the platform of public interest, selfless leadership, under the platform of contentment, self-contentment. Once we have these qualities as individuals and they set the pace, preach it, practice it, not just saying it, but practicing it. And Chinedu, like I was saying last time, I said, if I love you and you have need, and I am able to resolve that need, you are my brother. And that Jews for the world. That is how they hold their hands together to fight. You cannot fight a war, ideological war. You cannot fight economic war, political war, cultural war, spiritual war without love. And you can't fight it.
Without love, you cannot have unity. Because it's only when two people are agreed together, that's the only time they can work together.
Yes, and it's only message that can unite us together. That message I want to hold on is good governance. Anything about good governance, our people have to understand what good governance is all about.
Okay, now Ndubisi, you are talking about good governance. People would like to understand what truly is good governance with the concept of Biafra in it. Let's get it from you, so that people will not, get it twisted. What is your interpretation about good governance? Why Biafra needs good governance in order to unite them for the struggle of their self-determination within the Nigerian equation? Let me hear your own opinion.
Yes, I have to start by saying this. Ndị Igbo si na a na-azụtagodo ana wee zọwa ụta. If you want to build a house, you have to secure land first. Without land, you cannot build. It's only when you have a land of your own, that land is not in dispute, that you can start laying your foundation. Now, because this issue of Biafra is confusing a lot of people. Now we have to understand this. We are Biafrans first. Every person from former Eastern Nigeria or rather East, the present-day Eastern Nigeria, 5 states. The present-day Eastern Nigeria, 5 states. But I say the former Eastern Nigeria. But by the time you go to former Eastern Nigeria, some people will tell you that they don't believe in Biafra because we've not done referendum to know who actually believe or not. So I said, former Eastern Nigeria, everybody there is Biafran, whether you believe it or not. So it's their identity. If not for anything, 3.5 million people died under canopy. So there was a country. There was a country. And some people were born during that 30 months war. 30 months period, we operated under Biafra. So for the fact that there was a country, there was a history. And for that history, we must continue to remember it. We must not throw away that history because we were defeated on a battlefield. So accepted that we are Biafra. There was a country called Biafra. Then after that, Biafra represents something. Biafra represents something. Biafra, people went into Biafra because they needed freedom, because they needed to operate in their own space, because they needed technological advancement, because they needed quality education, hospital, they needed to refine their fuel, they needed to give themselves electricity, which Nigeria cannot provide. All were dreams of Biafra. And up till now, people have not forgotten. So, to the question you asked, what do I mean by Biafra? I have to differentiate Biafra of territory, that is fighting to have a territory, to have your own country called Biafra. That was why I said, Ana Sotagoda Ana first, before Asowuta. You have to secure your identity. You have to secure the ideology. If you secure the ideology with love, with trust, then you begin to pursue the other one, which is territory, if there is need, if need be. So if you ask me about those things that attracted people to the word Biafra, I can simply tell you that those things are all the things that makes a modern society. Those things you see in America today, those things you see in Switzerland today, those things you see in UK today. In addition to our rich cultural heritage, or on Ruben Naman also, which in Dutch and them, and Dutch, so to our advantage, we have that advantage of good neighborhood on Ruben Naman also. So you add Western civilization with our own indigenous civilization put together. That is what is Biafra.
All right. Okay. That is what is Biafra, and that is what you mean by the restructuring of Nigeria and to what it means to an Igbo man or a Biafran Igbo person or a Biafran generally. What actually it means is good governance within the Southeast. And that is where we start uniting ourselves to rebuild our economy. That's why we are very focal on the economy of the Southeast, to rebuild our homeland, good governance, advocacy, to put the infrastructure, because that is what is lacking. The infrastructure needed to thrive, to develop. You know, some people mix it up, infrastructure and development. Infrastructure is not development, but infrastructure can precipitate development. Okay, so that's exactly what we're trying to clarify here and educate our people, because most of our people are so emotional. When you mention Biafra, boom, they lose their senses, they become very emotional and very sentimental. They don't want to hear any other opinion. All they want is Biafra, Biafra, Biafra. And at the end of it, we keep rolling in the cycle.
And the thing they do, most people they will tell you to stop this thing you are doing. Let's wait until we get Biafra.
Uh-huh.
You start to
Now that one I ain't was
you
fast,
start
Seth.
to
Now that
promote
one I
am.
ain't was fast. They will tell you
Let's
everything should
wait.
wait. And
He
some of the
say
people
let's
saying
wait.
that, some of the people saying that are living in
And
diaspora,
diaspora
their lives are not
enjoying
waiting. Their children are going to school. They are not waiting until Biafra comes. Even those who are in Nigeria, they are going to their business every day. They are not waiting until Biafra comes. Then why should we wait to put infrastructures in place? Why should we wait until Biafra comes before our schools will start working? Before our hospitals will start working? Before we start producing food, agriculture, investing in agriculture and be food sufficient? Why should we wait until Biafra comes? Why don't we continue in the process while pursuing Biafra? Because that is ultimately what Biafra is actually all about. And that's what we are just saying here. I don't know why people don't get this very fact straight and don't allow sentiment to becloud their sense of reasoning. Okay? While we pursue for self-determination, we must continue to push for good governance in the Southeast to start with, because Ndubisi have narrated it very well. If you mention Biafra to someone from the Niger Delta, people who have denied their Igbo-ness, especially some of them in the River State or some of them in, what do you call it, in Delta State, they have denied their Igbo-ness. And some of them in Akwa Ibom, they have denied their Igbo-ness completely. How will you not tell that same person that he's a Biafran? We are no longer talking about other nationalities that are in the Biafra. How will you preach Biafra to an Ijoma today in Nigeria? How will you preach Biafra to an Ikwere, to not Ikwere, what do you call it, Isoko, and the rest of them, Urobo them, in the Delta States? How do you tell them? Ebankers, the Anyomas in Delta State, who have denied their identity completely. As Igbo, so we're no longer talking about Biafrans. So by the time we will see that we are all in a cycle of confusion. But how we can start diffusing this confusion and getting better focus on what we want to start with in Nigeria. If we can get restructured, even before Nigeria restructure itself, we can restructure ourselves with our mindset by having the right people in power, just like what Oti helped in doing, in achieving in a shortest period of time. In Abia State, putting things on ground, infrastructures that will attract development, and also energize, intermediate, and intervene in making sure that geometric power plants come to light. So these are some of the things that we talk about while we continue agitating for self-determination or restructuring or whatever thing that we are agitating for in Nigeria. And that is what it means to us as Biafrans, as an Igbo man. We must insist on good governance. And that is what NDBC and I we are saying, and that is what we represent on this platform, BBI Channel 1. We are not sentimental about it, and we are not emotional about it. We continue to preach this message, and until our people embrace this truth, we may never be free. NDBC, what's your conclusion on this issue so that we wrap up on today's program and hope we'll continue on this discussion next week? Can unmute yourself.
Hello, children.
Go on.
Yeah, our people have to understand one thing, that you have to love yourself first before anything. You don't expect your enemies to.
Go on. Go on, we can hear you. Hello, Andy. Go on. I think. Can you hear me? Hello? I think he's being cut off. Network. All right. Maybe we'll continue on this section next week, and we'll continue in this discussion. Please join us as we continue to educate and sensitize our people. Keep dropping your comments on the comment section. Ask any question you want, and you can also be part of this program whenever we come live again on Biafra Discourse. What's your take on this issue of restructuring, and how are we going to go about it? That's one of the things we're going to talk about a couple of times, and we hope that when we are fully informed, maka ikwu na nwere onwe na-ebido na nwere onwe. So nwere onwe na-ebido na nwere onwe. You must first of all know yourself. Self-knowledge is where the freedom will start. And I appreciate every one of you who have joined us in this program. Continue watching, continue liking, continue sharing, continue being part of this great platform that informs our people better. Until I come your way next time, please stay blessed. Please stay safe. That is very important to us as our people. Bye-bye for now.